Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, guys, we have Jiedel's response to the Too Hype drama. And before we get into this, guys, I do need to issue an apology to you guys. You know, I read a lot of your guys' feedback and comments, and even rewatched some of the segments that I talked about in the Jester response video. And I definitely did come off as biased in that, and I really did not mean that, man. And I feel like maybe my definition of bias is either incorrect or just in general different from what others' definition of bias is. Like, to me, when you're being biased, it means that you're 100% having an alliance with the person you are taking a side with. And in my case, that's simply not the truth. Like, I never really had any issue with Too Hype at all. Mopey, I've never really talked to up until recently, where I did message him and just tell him, like, hey, man, like, I'm sorry you're going through, like, substance addiction, stuff like that. If you ever need somebody to talk to, hit me up, man. Like, that's about as far as my interaction with his ever went. And I think the reason I acted like the way I did in that video, kind of like really I don't really want to say like nitpicking, but just kind of looking through like a magnifying glass and everything Jester was saying, is because, in Tyler/Mopey's video, to me, that's just like one guy in the grand scheme of the drama going on, because obviously there's stuff like TD and like, Walker and Los and all those guys. So I just kind of feel that it's Too Hype's responsibility and our responsibility as an audience to kind of like really make them defend what they are saying, and that's not to be biased towards anybody. It's just because all the drama does circle around them, and there's have been a lot of like stories, flip-flopped back and forth, and a lot of just just a lot of different circumstances with that group where they've said something later on, it was either proven false or maybe taken the wrong way. So that was really my intention with that video was, but I know I did definitely come off as biased in that, and I do apologize to you guys for that, man, because that's definitely not how I really tried to be, man. And I know it's not that big a deal, bro. It's drama about a basketball community, but just, man, like, this is my job and stuff like that. So I want to be the best person I can be for you guys. So I do genuinely actually apologize for that, guys. Was not my intention, but nobody's perfect, right, man? But in this video with Jiedel, I would say that Jiedel has been somebody in this drama that's definitely been like hurt, I guess just from like a reputation standpoint the most. There's a lot of people out here definitely coming after this man and stuff. So I am going to simply try to listen, and respond to the things that I think I should respond to, but maybe not like antagonize what he's saying. But man, I'm just gonna be me. That's the best. That's all I know how to do is be me. So let's listen to what he says. It's not a 45-minute video. It's a 12-minute video, so knowing me, how much my ass talks will make this about a 2-hour video, man. But no, not really. I'm going to try to do it under half an hour. I can do that. It's 12 minutes. Let's just listen. Let's listen and respond and, yeah, man, see what he's got to say. Now, keep in mind the issues with Jiedel, I believe, stem down to people were saying that, I guess, Mopey had, clips of him being disrespectful in Mopey's videos, moving equipment around. Of course, he had the line of texts on Twitter kind of talking about some different things that people, weren't a big fan of. So that's all I know that's going on. I don't know there's more to it, but yeah, let's see what it got to say.
As you all know, Tyler decided to leave Too Hype, and he said a lot of things about the group as well as all of us as individuals. Jesse dropped a video yesterday that covers a lot of the things that Tyler said about the group as a whole. I highly encourage you guys to watch that video.
Did do that.
Watching mine, it'll give a lot of context to.
I have a reaction to it
in this video, which will only really be about what Tyler said about me personally.
Sure.
Tyler essentially made two.
Which is fine because in Jester's video. Plus, that's another thing I actually want to apologize to you guys about the Jester video too. Is that a lot of people are saying that while Jester, of course, was like part of the problem, they say that a lot of like the drama and bulliness towards Mopey was more so from like the other guys in the group, not so much Jester. Jester and Mopey, their big thing was more so just like, was he choosing like money and fame over friendship? Was he really there for him? Obviously, I made points in the video too saying that, there's only so much that Jester can do. I'm saying, like, in that circumstance, not being like he's not like Mopey's, I don't want to use the word like father. That seems kind of weird. But you know what I'm saying, man? Like, they're friends. Like, there's only so much a friend can do, especially if you're not trained to deal with somebody that's having substance issues, right? So I just want to point that out too, man. I think in that video I was kind of tossing Jester into the whole group of problems and not just his individual problems. So we gotta focus on just like Jiedel's gonna talk about what his issues are with Mopey in the group.
about me in his video. He said I was very disrespectful, treated him like trash, and that I also did not give any effort in his videos. I'm going to cover the point about effort in videos first because I think it's a lot more easily explainable and there's an actual timeline of events that corresponds to it. Tyler brought up this issue of my body language in his videos at one of our weekly Sunday meetings, either in late June or early July. I don't remember off the top of my head. It was toward the end of the meeting. When he first broached me with this issue, I was very defensive about it. I was very taken aback. I was kind of surprised. I was also kind of hurt he brought it in front of the whole group instead of ever coming to me directly. Ultimately, we kind of had a discussion.
Right, which I can see in that circumstance where like you would be hurt by that. But also you got to look at the opposite side of the spectrum with that too. Where, I mean, you know, the way that you react to somebody's criticism is going to really judge if that person can come back on criticism later on in events. And I know we were kind of hearing that from Mopey, that in some cases he wanted to bring stuff up, but maybe he was a little afraid to. So like I said, we don't know the initial reaction to how Jiedel did act when Mopey did bring it up. But, you know, if you were like taken back or maybe rude in a way, then you could see where that could cause issues later on down the road.
I apologized. We started talking about a different topic. During the time we were talking about a different topic, I decided to watch back all of Tyler's videos from the recent months, the intros of them, because that's kind of he really highlighted was the intros.
Sure.
And then I asked to speak with Tyler personally. We spoke one-on-one on Discord. I apologized to Tyler for having bad body language in his videos. I agreed with him. Tyler had made it seem like when I agreed with him, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just doing that on purpose. When I told Tyler I agreed with him, it was because I had just watched all the videos and I found out that I was being a bad friend, co-pilot, whatever you want to call me in the videos. However, I will stand by the fact that I did give effort during the videos. I always tried to be on topic, do whatever was needed for the video.
Right, and I think that is also something that, you know, I mean, you guys definitely probably watch more 2Hype than I do. Like, I reacted to a few of their videos back in the day, but I honestly don't keep up with it that much. Just because, you know, doing like basketball and 2K videos myself, like I don't really like to watch basketball videos, you know, in my free time and stuff. I've been playing Monster Hunter on PlayStation 5, guys. But did he have that same body language in other members' videos, or was it simply just Mopey's that you guys were seeing? Because then it comes down to it's like why did he feel the need to act like that in Mopey's videos? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm kind of wondering too. Like there has to be a reason behind acting one way in another person's video and another way in somebody else's video. And I don't really know. And like I said, if he doesn't like them, that's, you know, I don't like everybody I meet in life. You guys probably don't like everybody you meet in life. But from a business perspective, you know, it's one of those cases where you simply just kind of have to like fake it, right? Like, you know, like you got to put the personal stuff aside. Like you don't have to like everybody, but when push comes to shove, business time, man, you know, we all got to put an equal effort and do our share out there for business to be successful.
But without a doubt, I was totally in the wrong when it came to these intros, and I apologize to Tyler. Another thing
I respect that.
About this
I respect that.
I made some excuse about how I was staring at Mitchell, and then that was some explanation for all of that. That is not what happened, Tyler. I don't know if you weren't listening to me when I told you this, but what I told you was, you know, you're right, my body language is bad in all these videos. However, in some of them, it looks like I'm just there being negative, when in reality, I'm trying to do something kind of funny for the intro, such as trying to stare at Mitchell to get his attention. Me and Mitchell had a habit of being mimes in the background of people's videos, particularly Zach's videos back in the late Your Belinda days. I get that there's a gap of time between then and then. But I'm saying this to show you guys that Mitchell and I actually did used to do stuff like that in the background of people's videos.
Sure.
Tyler is saying I use this as an excuse. What actually happened is, Tyler, I apologize to you for experimenting in the background of your intros. I told you if anything I learned is that I shouldn't use other people's videos to experiment with.
Or at least give them a heads up. You know, that's as simple. It's as simple as that. Where it's like, hey, I'm gonna do this bit for this intro. You know, I used to make a lot of like skits and stuff with my buddies back in the day, and everything that we did was pretty much like heads up. Like everybody had like a heads up, like, hey, I'm gonna act this way. Because if you don't, then I mean, unless you're like a master of improv and know what's going on, then yeah, you could definitely see where a certain action would come off a certain way. So yeah, I think that's an easy fix. I mean, that's something that could have just been like addressed like after that happened, like the first few times, like, hey, Jiedel, like, you know, why are you acting doing this way? He's like, I'm just doing this bit right here. So
claiming I use this as an excuse, when in reality it's something that I pointed out and then apologized to you for. So where do we go from there? Obviously, Tyler told me this. Tyler, you only had me in 3 videos of yours after this. You didn't want me in your videos for a while after that. I totally get that. There's no fault there. There's nothing wrong with that. But the 3 videos you had me be in, Here are the intros of those videos.
What's up, you guys? It's Moby. Tam here with Jesse, Chris, and James. What's up, you guys? It's Moby, bringing back an old video. Krispy Kreme, treasure hunt.
Hey, Crispy Flakes, not cream.
Squad house this time. What's up, you guys? It's Moby. Thank you guys for 900K.
Dude, making fire, man.
You can see that I did make an effort to improve my body language in your videos and be more joyful and all that in your videos because you asked me to. When you told me I was doing something wrong, I made the change you requested. One thing Ty was really upset with.
Yeah, I give him points for that. That looked better. I mean, that definitely did look more engaged. So, yep.
Me about in this meeting, and Tyler, I only heard this because you told other people this. Again, a lot of these issues, you never spoke with me directly. You never tried to have a conversation with me about issues you had with me, which is unfortunate. I heard during that meeting you were hurt that I said, I'm sorry, but, and yes, I might have said that during the part of our conversation in front of the whole group when I was more defensive. Tyler, the reason I said that was because I said, you are never really prepared to film your videos. Guys, as a lot of you know, most of the time when we film our videos, we'll film literally everyone's videos in one day. So that could range from anywhere from like 4 to 7 videos in a day. Sometimes
yeah, that's crazy.
From literally 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And when you have a girlfriend, you have a dog, you have other obligations outside of YouTube, that can take a mental toll on you. And often when we did our structure,
I mean, as a YouTuber, myself, like I said, I mean, I typically there is some days where, I mean, when I'm posting like damn 8 videos, like mine are like they'll do more so, you know, they're doing like more bigger projects, stuff like that. But I mean, if they're doing that every single day, and then that's just like a life, you know, a work-life balance. You guys got to get situated out, you know, plain and simple. But I mean, yeah, there is days, you know, where I tell my girlfriend like, hey, like I'm gonna be busy doing with YouTube. But like if it's like a once or twice a week thing, then that just comes with any job. I mean, there's people out there working, you know, 3 or 4 straight days of 12-hour shifts. So, you know, it's just kind of about balance, in my opinion.
I won't lie, I usually would tend to go toward the beginning of our filming schedule because when I'm doing videos like this carnival video, etc., they take a lot of setup and stuff. Tyler tended to shoot toward the end of the videos. He almost always volunteered to go last. And then usually what would
be a little drained at that point.
And you know, you would take a long time to set your videos up, and it kind of drained on me. And during that meeting, Tyler, when I said, I'm sorry, but, the but was like, you know, we can help each other out. I can have better body language in your videos, but you can also make some effort to try to, you know, accommodate our schedules. Because me personally, I think not respecting people's time is very disrespectful. So I told you that I found what you were doing was disrespectful to me. You told me essentially that because you were the one going through mental health struggles, that you didn't have to meet me halfway, and I.
So I think another way to maybe solve this issue too would have to be, you know, when they have recording days, instead of saying like, hey, sometimes we go from like 10 to 10 at night. I mean, you know, I think each individual should be like, hey, like, okay, we have 2 hours to record your video. We have 2 hours to record your video. Well, we get done that like it's your job as the owner of your channel and the producer of that video. That is your time. If the clock ticks and it's time to move on to the next person, their day is over with, then, you know, I mean, that is on you to have to improve your kind of like schedule and your balance and stuff to get there. So I do see that too. Like from the production standpoint, that does seem like where a lot of maybe the anger is coming from here and a lot of the back and forth. Like I said, man, like I do know that it could be stressful. So, okay, I do get that. But at the same time too, you gotta be professional no matter what. Like you gotta give it your all the last hour of the day as the first hour of the day.
We had to meet you. As we can see in those examples, I did go all the way for you, Tyler. The other thing that you asked of me that you didn't bring up in your video was being pushy about time. A lot of the times when we filmed our 2 hype videos, guys, I was the guy who was like, hey guys, why are we all on our phones? Let's like film the next video. Yes, I was pushy. I was that guy. You told me not to be. I stopped being that guy every time we did film sessions.
I don't think that's a bad thing to be, though.
Tyler. But you didn't give me a second chance. You had already made up your mind about me. Now, quickly, I want to point out that Tyler did also say he brought this up with me back at the Your Belinda house. That is a half-truth. Tyler, you know that conversation was about Jesse's video. Jesse filmed a King of the Court video with I elected to take pretty much only trick shots for my attempts instead of real attempts, and Jesse wasn't happy about it. We had a heated discussion about it. Ultimately, I was wrong about that. I would agree with Jesse looking back that I wasn't giving the full effort to his video. At the time, my perspective was, yes, I'm taking trick shots. I'm giving full effort on these trick shots. Tyler then quickly kind of made a
I mean, saying you like saying you're giving full effort on the trick shots. I think once again that simply comes down to like if you want to go off the script and do stuff like that, like that's completely fine. Like if you want to be like the gimmick in the video, which I don't think is like a bad thing. Like it's like yeah, like for this one, Jiedel is just doing trick shots. But once again, like by not communicating that to know, if it's Jester or Mopey or whoever it is, that is where you're going to have issues, because it does come off as as not giving effort. That happens over the course, if it happens 1 out of every 3 or 4 videos, then over time it's like, you're recording people like, oh man, like, why is Jiedel mad today or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of that is just simple, just miscommunications that easily fixed.
And like, James, I feel the same way. It was in the heat of the moment with my argument with Jesse. I thought the discussion was solely about basketball videos, and that's it. I thought it had nothing to do with anything else but effort in basketball videos. I didn't think anything of it. Tyler, you never came to me afterward and explained it was more than that. You never came to communicate with me. Now, Tyler, this also applies to the things you were going through. I didn't know all of the things you were going through. I knew you had a struggle with weed. I'm not afraid to say it. My video will not be monetized. But Tyler, not even I knew the extent of how much you were consuming at the time. And another thing you were doing was drinking. I had no idea you were drinking until you brought it up.
I mean, I don't really smoke, guys. Like, it's just not really my thing. But I didn't think it was that bad. Like, I understand people, like, I would say out of, like, in my own personal mindset, like, smoking and, like, drinking, it depends what you're smoking, right? It just, I don't know, man. Like, they really talk about it like it's like some like hardcore stuff going on here. I just kind of feel like it's dramatizing that specific substance. Like I just said, like I don't really do it, so I don't know. Like if you do it too much, can it really lead to like bad things in life? That specific substance. I mean, I'm just wondering. You guys educate me, man. I know drinking wise, yeah, I can.
In a meeting and you were saying that's one of the reasons you might want to have to go to rehab. I had zero idea you were drinking because you were doing it at Jesse's house while skating, which is incredibly dangerous, and I would have told you not to do that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm an expert on addiction or anything like that, or that I'm some expert life counselor, so I'm not going to do that. But Tyler, you also cannot give me the cold shoulder for over a year and act like I know everything that's going on with you. So this brings me to our next point about how Tyler said I disrespected him off camera and treated him like trash. Tyler, that's not true. You know that's not true. You literally did not speak to me at all for almost the entire last year. How could I be disrespectful to you if we're not even speaking and I'm not talking to you or about you with anybody? Your 2 examples of how I was disrespectful to you, you yourself called petty. It was me saying I had a better hoodie collection than you. I thought it was a fun gag between the 2 of us. And Tyler, when it comes to the ankle breaker, I'm very sorry if you feel like I tried to discredit you and your accomplishments on the court or your accomplishments anywhere. I never tried to do that. That's just not true. I never tried to discredit what you were doing. And Tyler, I know you wanted to film a video about me debating it after I dropped my video, which, by the way, I will delete out of respect for you because I now know how much this hurt you. But Tyler,
what are your guys' thoughts on the ankle breaker, man? I mean, I do know when. I mean, I know when like when Flight got ankle broke by Cash, it was a big, huge meme. That thing was like a year long. So I can see where like, a personality that's big on YouTube, like if that happens to you, you don't want, you want to like keep it settled down, but at the same time too, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's not that big a deal. Like, you got your ankles broke, it's fine. Let people laugh about it for a few months or a year or whatever it is. If anything, man, I always say that any any sort of like advertisement or whatever or publicity is good publicity. So if you got like if they have like ESPN posting or something like damn, people on ESPN just saw you, like you might have got your ankles took or whatever, but it's fine. It's just all for fun, man. My grandma always told me, man, God bless her, just like when it came to basketball, have fun, good exercise. I take that to heart, man, every single day. So, it's all just fun and games. It's all to entertain.
The reason I didn't want to make that video with you, I know at the time I told you, are you sure you really want to make that a video that's going to be like a 4-minute video? Yes, I did tell you that. But Tyler, my foot was in so much pain for an entire month after that injury. I know you're feeling like I never actually got hurt. Before that video, my foot was already hurting the entire day, the entire week before we filmed that video.
My guy's still defending the ankle breaker, man.
My foot felt like it was about to fall off. After that video, I went to a foot doctor, and he thought my foot was fractured, and then he told me to get an MRI. Like, I didn't really want to have a debate about, oh, you broke my ankle, when I'm sitting here like, dude, my foot just fucking hurts. I'm not trying to discredit you, Tyler, or anything you did. but you also can't tell me I faked an injury. I find that incredibly insulting. Now, Tyler, those were your 2 examples. You yourself called them petty. I'm struggling to find any other time I might have disrespected you. The only other times, multiple, I could think of is when after your videos, a lot of the times I would give you feedback. I'm a very blunt person, as you know, and I can imagine my criticism, which was meant to be constructive, might have come off as very harsh.
Yeah, I used to work with a guy, or for a guy. He was very direct. And I mean, like, you could see where it's like, if you didn't know the guy personally, or if you do kind of know him personally, it's like the dude, like, I was like cool with him or everything, but he was a jackass, man. And he knew it too, you know what I'm saying? So, blunt personalities, and that's kind of what it sounds like is a big issue here, is maybe Jiedel is a bit more like direct and blunt, which could come off as like being like an a-hole or whatever. It just can. That's just how it is. I'm sure he would probably agree with that too. That's just how some people are. And you combine that with other personalities where, you know, maybe like a bit more of a respectful approach, and for lack of a better term, y'all know like certain like coaches, like coaching, man. I mean, how do you guys respond to criticism? For me personally, I'd rather somebody just kind of like, I don't really like the direct approach. Like sometimes it's useful and stuff, but for the most part, man, it's just like, if you respectfully come to me about something, I'm gonna be like, yeah, man, like, yeah, I definitely see what you're saying right there, as opposed to just saying like, oh, what you did was horrible. Like, yes, I guess that's feedback, but it's not good feedback, in my opinion.
And maybe you found it disrespectful. That was never my intent. Never was. Never would be. As I told you, and you agreed with me, I make the fewest jokes about you in the entire group. So I'm really kind of like confused where you feel like I'm constantly disrespecting you, because you gave
it sounds like it's the bluntness.
So long, every time I try to speak to you, it was like a one-word answer. The only exceptions to this were when your cousin and your brother would come over, and we watched Ninja Batman. They came over another time. I know we all hung out. They might have even come a third time. And when they came over, we all had a great time. Would you say I disrespected you at any point during those? I'm at a loss for words. I thought we were all hanging out having a good time. You know, if you felt some type of vitriolic way about me this whole time and never addressed it, Tyler, you're calling us fake, but what does that make you? You hid your feelings about how you felt about me for so long. Now, one discussion, Tyler, I have zero idea. No one has told me that I think maybe you would be upset about. I'm just going to say it out here because I think it's important for everyone to hear, is before we filmed this Lakers Heat finals video for the 2 Hype channel was the one time you finally kind of opened up to me about some of your struggles.
All right.
I briefly told you about how one thing that helped me with my bout with depression back when I was in college was taking vitamin D pills. Just as a side note, I think everyone should take vitamin D. It helps your immune system. It helps your mental.
Is that like the sunlight?
Tyler, I don't know if you felt like I was trying to deduce all of your complicated issues into one simple solution. If that's how you felt, I can imagine that would feel very disrespectful, and I am incredibly sorry if that's how I came off. That was not my intention when I told you that. And I really hope that's not how you interpreted it. I was trying to be helpful, Tyler, and because you had kind of given me the cold shoulder and only given me one-word answers all year, every time me and you were broached about a deep conversation, I felt like we could only have a surface-level discussion about it. Tyler, ultimately, I feel like a lot of the issues you have with me and the group as a whole come back to you not communicating to us what was wrong. In your video, you say I wasn't open about enough things, but I was open enough. From your perspective, you might have been, but for me, I was...
See, and I think that's been like my biggest issue with like this drama, like the whole like back and forth thing. Like it's clear that there's miscommunications on Mopey sides and Jiedel's side and 2 Hype as a whole side, but it's definitely like this last thing. Let's hear what he said again.
You say I wasn't open about enough things, but I was open enough. From your perspective, you might have been, but for you were broached about a deep conversation, I felt like we could only have surface level discussion about it. Tyler, ultimately, I feel like a lot of the issues you have with me and the group as a whole come back to you not communicating to us.
See, that's the issue, man. Like, you know, I don't mean to make a joke right here, but like in like marriage counsel, they say don't use like use, like you gotta use like eyes. Like how do I feel? Like what did I do? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the biggest issue here is that, you know, both sides have a story, and I think there's a lot of truths to the stories. As far as I don't even really know if there's like lies to the stories, man. I just think there's just I don't know if like delusion's the word. I just, once again, man, it just comes down to like miscommunication, man. That's really what the situation is. So it's a whole bunch of different personalities clashing together, miscommunications, you know, because like I said, it's not really lying. Like if you think you're right about something, but you're not lying to like say you're right about something, but you're simply just like have this belief that you are, then it's not really lying in what you're saying. It's just how you perceive things.
us what was wrong. In your video, you say I wasn't open about enough things, but I was open enough. From your perspective, you might have been, but for me, I was in the dark about so many things going on with you that I don't think you were open enough about a lot of things. I feel like, Tyler, you never gave me a second chance. I'm not sure why. And, you know, Tyler, if you feel like you don't ever want to talk to me again, that's fine. Personally, I feel like we could fix this with a conversation or a phone call, so feel free to call me. If not, that's okay. I just don't want this YouTube drama to continue. I don't think YouTube drama is good and healthy for anyone's mental health. And
when you always called me biased yesterday in the damn comments, bro, man, I mean, I wasn't having like a bad day because of it, but I was like, I felt bad. I was like, I could see like where this like drama stuff, like obviously it gets views and stuff like that, and people like want to watch it. But man, like I will say like people that are on like the wrong side of it and stuff, just like the negativity. I bet you it does affect that mental health too, whether you know they're in the right or in the wrong of it. I was just like, man, it's like because even that, it's like for me, I miscommunicated with you guys, and it was my fault. But I was just like people were calling me biased. Like I didn't mean to be biased. I didn't mean to come off like that, man. Leave me alone. Leave me. But no, I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm hopefully you guys are over it too.
I just want it to come to an end. I'll be honest with y'all. I don't understand like why this is all happening. To be honest, I still don't quite understand why this is all happening. And I know.
Well, I mean, I think we all understand why. I feel like you should understand why. There's a lot of reasons why this is going on, and there was a lot of bad things that happened, and a lot of things that were mishandled on both sides. I don't think it needed to be public. I feel like this is also that could have been behind the scenes. But obviously it wasn't. And obviously feelings were hurt. And reasons for things being brought to the light was because maybe like when you don't feel like you're being heard, like it's like, okay, well we got this big ass following, so if you ain't going to hear me, I'm going to make you be heard, but using the voice of the audience.
Tyler, there's this whole backdrop of these emails we've had back and forth between our two sides and everything. But through all that, I feel like this can still get solved in a cordial manner. I don't see why not. Tyler, again, I apologize for if you feel like I discredited you, if you feel like I was trying to deduce your issues into something or something else, if I was trying to trivialize anything you were doing. That was never my intent. And quite frankly, I don't think I even came off that way. I feel like you kind of just made your mind up about me and rolled with it regardless of my actions or what I said. That's how I'm going to end this video, guys. Again, if you haven't watched Jesse's video, I encourage you to watch it. And I want to get back to posting videos on this channel. I want to get back to posting videos on my main channel.
Ain't nobody stopping you, man.
So I want everyone to have a great new year. Even you, Tyler, have a great new year. Everybody have a great new year. I think, you know, if you're having issues with people, address it to them. If they don't, you know, take your feedback, then it's okay to end a friendship. You know, Tyler, if you feel like the issues between us are, you know, just gone forever, it doesn't have to be vitriolic. This breakup between
that's a
us.
fancy word.
Peaceful breakup, and that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, it's definitely a sloppy situation for sure. I mean, I doubt Jiedels watching this video, but if he is, I think that's just one thing that comes with being part of a big group and also being part of drama. Like, for you to like want to like continue making videos, like you're simply just gonna have to do it. But I would say for the course of the next year, expect a lot of dislikes because people got their sides at this point. And people have their beliefs, and that's one thing that, you find out even from, like, politics, man. Like, there ain't nothing you can say to change somebody's mind once their mind's made up about certain issues. I just hope these guys all figure it out, man. It's like, I don't really feel like we're learning anything new at this point. We're kind of hearing all the sides of the stories, and it all just kind of meshing together and making it one big thing. And I just think, man, the Pee Wee Herman Playhouse of the Day word, miscommunication. I was going to yell right there like Pee Wee Herman, but I don't think a lot of you guys know who that is, man. Yo, that's all we got. Hopefully these guys figure things out. That's all I got. Peace out, guys.